Thank you, Arman. Yes, I'm touching this point, but allow me to do some politics, because the services of the House, they prepare an excellent paper that I'm only using partially, because I think we have to talk about many things that the ambassador mentioned and that we heard from Prime Minister Pashinyan a few days ago. Armenia is enduring a very difficult time after the loss of the war, and now because what is happening in the immediate neighborhood with the situation in Iran. We hope for the best. We hope that find a way to have a final agreement, treaty of peace, not only a provisional ceasefire situation. I think that what happened in Washington in the last 8th of August is a good step, but we all have to plow on and to pressure to have a complete peace treaty between Armenia and Azerbaijan. And there are fringes. There are fringes pending after the war that we have to tackle, and we are ready to assist Armenia, if requested, to try to be of help in this situation. The prisoners in Azerbaijan, I know that the position of the government is to try to do things silently, but at least we have to mention the fact that the prisoners, the authorities of Nagorno-Karabakh region or nation or whatever you can call it, they were judged by a military court. And they were judged, and I took my time to examine the indictment because of the thing that happened in the war. And there was a war. To come now after the result of the war with accusing, for example, our Armenian friends of digging trenches. Of course, in a war you have to dig trenches. This is a normal thing. And the fact that this citizen has been indicted in a military court opened the space for doubting about the guarantees of this procedure, but I don't want to go beyond because I know that the position of the government is try to solve the issue. I hope really that in the process of finalizing the peace agreement, these Armenian citizens are going to be released. The demarcation of the border is crucial. It's crucial. We are there to help for the demarcation, and we have in European Union mission to be of help. And I convey to the Azerbaijani ambassador that they have to encounter the way to collaborate, even if they don't allow to cross the border for the mission. They can collaborate in many other ways that could be a good a gesture of goodwill. And I think it's needed to appease the public discussion on the demarcation. The demarcation is needed because you were in the past two different Soviet republics, never having a hard border, never having a real demarcation, and it's high time to have a clear demarcation and to let the expert to work in this dossier, closing these things that I know has been used in the domestic political debate to create some unease. But we have to felicitate both countries. I have been working in OSCE for many years, and I remember the report about the skirmishes and shootings, always these unnamed hills between Azerbaijan and Armenia. And for the last, I don't know, 1 year, more than 1 year, it didn't happen. And this is good that there were not this old bad habit of the skirmishes in this part of the border. To protect the people who came from Nagorno and to house and to protect and to provide housing and social protection for the people who were displaced is another thing that Mr. Pashinyan mentioned, and it's a thing probably in which we can be of help. It's good to talk about the connection. I carefully avoid the other word to refer the connection or the trip between Azerbaijan and Najichevang in the way that it has been depicted. No doubt that this is a connection through the sovereign territory of Armenia. And this is key. This is not any kind of extraterritorial link. This is to facilitate the mobility, but through the sovereign territory of Armenia. I'm very tired about this news about the reopening of the border with Turkey. I'm absolutely tired. They are always every 6 months. Yeah, we are opening the border for third country. There is no apparently any political will, and I know why. I know why, and I criticize this harshly, because what Turkey did is to externalize part of its political foreign policy to a third country, that is Azerbaijan. It's, to me, astonishing, but it happened. The Turkish authorities gave Azerbaijan a power of veto on the relation of Turkey and Armenia, and this is creating this kind of things. Another important thing that was underlined, to my surprise, I have to say, by Mr. Pashinyan in the last speech, is linking very closely what happened in EU-Georgia relation with what can happen in Armenia-EU relations. I understand the logic of Mr. Pashinyan, but we decided implicitly to dissolve the blocks. To approach the European Union, it's a thing that every country has to do, and we are not in the period, you remember Russia, when our colleague Kubilius, we talk about the antechamber and the trio. There is no trio anymore, meaning you have to examine and to conduct your policy towards European Union, taking into account what happened in Georgia, but not being dependent on what happened in Georgia. This is my advice. On the relation with the European Union, we appreciated a lot the fact that the Parliament formalized the political will of the country to approach the European Union. I think this is excellent. But as I always say to my colleagues, to Arman and to other colleagues, Haik and Artur and others, this is not only geopolitics. And this is not only about Russia. This is about the domestic policies. And I know how difficult it is to disengage from an old relation, old dependencies, but we are not demanding any kind of disengagement. This is a thing you have to examine by yourself. But what we say is to approach the European Union is not only a geopolitical move. It's a move that has to do with domestic policies and the deepening of the democratic standards in the country. And I think it's good to remind that, because there are some worrying reports lately of the Human Rights Watch about some tendencies in the country that has to be taken and has to be addressed. On the collaboration with the European Parliament, I have been granted by my colleagues to be the lead member, meaning try to, in the interparliamentary relation, try to have a responsibility to conduct this relation. As we had an excellent study visit. 3 of you were part of these study visits in the last weeks of February. I think it's good that you know the Parliament working in practice. You are becoming regulars, Arman and Artur and Haik. You have to think hiding a flat, because you are becoming regular in the last weeks in the Parliament. This is excellent. It was an excellent visit. I'm very happy. Now I know officially that we received the invitation to conduct an election mission, and I'm very happy. Being the lead member, I think it's better that I prefer not to be involved, not to damage my other position, but I know very well the country and the elections. I was the special coordinators in the elections of the year, I don't know, 16 or 17, under the OSCE or the umbrella, and this is a crucial point to conduct a very clean, free and fair elections. Is going to be a step to solidify this will of approaching European Union values. We are working with young political leaders. This is the next step, is to try to have or to visit the young politicians from your country, probably after the elections, because everybody knows that you are going to be involved in the campaign and so on, and this is not probably the best suitable period for appeasing polarization. We are working with women empowerment. This is the other step. And then we are talking, and we had an excellent meeting with your Secretary General, the Secretary General of the Armenian National Assembly, on the staff preparation and on technical things that in which we can both, in both directions, learn lessons from the other. You can count with the European Union. That has been said in the most clear and supported way, and we are having this summit. To my opinion, excessively close to the election, but it's good to have this summit. And we, from our side, we have to appear as the European Union. This is important to a friend, to a political ally, to a partner, and try to be very careful not to be dragged of appearing endorsing one or another contender. This is another thing that could be important. It's the whole European Union supporting Armenia. It's not some institutions being used in the political domestic arena appearing to be supporting one of other contenders. Thank you for your presence, colleagues, and thank you, Niels and Arman, for your invitation.